All right, well, good afternoon, and thank you for taking the time to be here with us today, where we will discuss the fascinating topic of why the time is right for a best of breed software approach for cannabis. My name is Joshua Gilstrap, and I am the marketing manager for E2B Technologies. I am joined by Bill Hensley, our CEO, Lynn Hensley, our COO, and Tyler Vinsky, our sales manager. We at E2B Technologies have 30 plus years of ERP software development, support, and sales experience. So with that, let's jump right in and discuss what we are going to get into today. And this is meant to be an informative comparison between two software solutions we see being leveraged in the space today. So first up is a side-by-side comparison between the best of breed and the single suite ERP approach. Then we will get more technical with the cloud evolution. Then we're going to dive into the buyer's journey, followed by a real-world application of the solution. And then we'll wrap up with our vision of the future of software and cannabis, as well as a Q&A. So to begin, here is Lynn Hensley to discuss our side-by-side comparison.
Well, thank you, Josh, and thank you everybody for attending today. This session is intended to give you some greater insight into some of the choices that are available when you're choosing how to purchase and deploy your business software. The world today is filled with industry acronyms that, while commonplace in our software world, may be foreign to others. And our plan today is to help you understand some of the differences, the advantages, disadvantages, and what choices you have available. Understanding these choices will make selecting the right solution for your business and your needs a positive experience. So let's begin by talking about what we mean when we talk about single suite versus best of breed software solutions. Both have their place in business. Differing factors can make a difference, whether it's from the industry, whether it's the size of your business, your projected growth, or the number of entities or employees you have. So understanding what's good and what's bad between both of these choices is great for you all. So we're going to start with the advantages. In a single suite solution, you are looking at an ERP solution that you're going to be a vendor is going to be providing to you. They're going to show you what their offering is, and their offering is going to be a fully integrated solution. So it's going to be back office and front office, both your accounting and your operational side of your software. Likely you're going to have an e-commerce, a warehouse management, but it's going to be an all-in-one solution. The advantage of an all-in-one solution is that it's a single implementation for all of your departments at one time. You have a single reporting database, so all of your data is housed in a single place, regardless of whether that's an on-prem deployment or whether it's an on-cloud deployment. So it'll be a single platform. You'll likely be dealing with a single vendor for that solution. And you're going to have the same interface, so the same look and feel across all of the departments within your organization. This may help from a training standpoint and a familiarity between all the different departments. So those are some really key advantages to having a single suite offering. In a best of breed environment, what you're looking at is a solution that is the best solution for very specific areas of your business. So you may be a multi-entity environment where you need to deploy multiple financial instances. You need to have consolidated financial statements, or maybe a roll-up of those financial statements. Your reporting requirements may be more complicated. So your financial requirements might be one solution you have. Your warehouse may have a different set of solutions you have a deep need for warehouse management or very robust e-commerce. What we do in a best of breed environment is that we select the best solutions for each of these individual areas of your business, and then we roll it out. It can be rolled out typically it's not rolled out in a single phase. Typically it's rolled out in multiple phases. So it's it works. Best of breed is great for a growth strategy. If you're not sure what your business is going to be doing in, let's say, 3 years or 5 years from now, um, it it means that companies can buy software not only in phases, but for specific departments, and so that they're catering to what the different departmental needs are. It supports flexibility in a high growth environment, because you may not know today what your needs are going to be later on. And this allows you to spin up additional entities, bring on new businesses, and do consolidations, where it's a lot of times more difficult to do that in a single suite environment. And you're not tied to a single vendor. And you're also not tied to a consensus for buying. So you don't have to compromise in the back office for what the front office wants, or vice versa. And typically in a best of breed, you're going to have functionally specific support, so that if I'm calling in and I need I have a support for a piece of my software, I may be calling in a very specific question on something that's happening, let's say in my financial statements, or something that's happening in my shipping and receiving. These folks will be able to speak to people that know exactly what they're talking about in the environment in which they're talking in. So those are some of the differences between single suite and best of breed. In a single suite, it's an all-in-one, it's one throat to choke. And in a best of breed environment, you're having a lot of flexibility and an increased amount of functionality within the solutions that you're choosing. That just kind of skinnies it down into the major differing factors between these two ways to deploy and to purchase your software. So those are some of the advantages. And if we move on to some of the disadvantages of a single suite versus a best of breed, they would be, some of them are kind of similar. In a single suite, one of the things that we find is that it's difficult to make a software selection that fits all of your departmental needs. And even if you can do that today, is it going to fit those needs in the future? It's normally because it's a large solution, it's normally a very broad solution with not as robust functionality at the department level. It's normally a larger upfront cost, because you're buying everything at once. It's typically a larger implementation, because you're normally implementing the entire solution at the same time. It's a longer ROI. Obviously, if the implementation is longer and the cost is higher, your return on investment is going to be higher. And it requires a shared vision between everybody in your company. And when I say everybody, it could be at the department level, you could have a selection committee, you might have a board of directors that needs some participation in your choices. And so this consensus is more difficult. And then you're tied to a single vendor's vision and priorities. Like a software company sets out and has priorities on what's their development cycle, what are the things and areas that they're going to focus on, are they going to go into new industries, and so they're going to have a higher priority focus on a specific vertical area versus maybe some general functionality. You don't really have as much say over that, and it applies to your entire solution as opposed to just one functional area. So those are some of the disadvantages of single suite. And some of the disadvantages of best of breed are you have multiple reporting systems that could become silos, because we have multiple vendors, we have multiple deployments of those solutions. You could have siloed data, which would decrease your communication across departments. You have multiple data entry points. Your user interface is going to be different, likely between the different areas that you're purchasing software for. As we stated before, your interdepartmental communication might be hampered by this. you have multiple software choices, which means you have to do more research with multiple vendors. It means you're dealing with multiple vendors. That could be viewed as a downside, and trying to find the right one for you could be more difficult. And then balancing those, once you have decided what you want, balancing those vendor relationships, having one person that you have to deal with is great. Dealing with multiple vendors and multiple relationships, can be more challenging. So as you can see, both single suite and best of breed offer some pros and some cons. Your business is exactly your business, and your business needs is what we want to do, and what we do as a company to try and help you sort of ferret out all of these options and see what makes the most sense for you. But I will say, in general, having what we find is having a best of breed, or in a best of breed environment, the flexibility outweighs the disadvantages in your software choices. Josh, I think that kind of wraps up the disadvantages and advantages. There are hundreds of them, right? We've sort of skinnied it down to the key ones.
Mm-hmm. We certainly did, and I do appreciate you laying those out for everyone, Lynn. To get a bit more technical and explain why we actually have the option of pursuing a best of breed solution or a single suite option as it was in the past, we're going to get into the evolution of cloud and cloud networking. And to do that, I'm going to introduce Bill Hensley, our CEO.
Josh. Yeah, and just to give you a little bit of my background, interestingly enough, I've spent probably 30 plus years doing application ERP software development, and I'd say over 25 of that was in the pursuit of the single solution ERP system. And it wasn't until recently that within the last few years that technology has given us the ability to consider best of breed as a legitimate alternative for an entire ERP system. If you want to go to the next slide there, Josh. All right, thanks. So what I say is the technology game changer is web APIs. All right, and so APIs are an acronym for Application Programming Interface, and that's really just programmer speak for programs that provide interfaces for other programs to talk to one another, okay, in a very high level sense. That's how programmers develop these programs that allow applications to speak to each other, and it provides for the ability to integrate one another. APIs have actually been around for probably more than 50 years. They became very popular in the early 2000s when actually application software products kind of expanded beyond just it used to be that all there was typically a single ERP type software out there that would try to run your whole business. And then in the 2000s, they actually got more line of business type applications. And in fact, APIs became popular then because they realized the need that applications needed to talk to each other. So the real game changer though was the move to the cloud. So with APIs, with the existence of APIs, there still was the fact that there were many platforms and such. With the evolution of the cloud, it provided the capability for us to communicate on a single platform. So basically, if you think about the cloud, people think of it as it's a platform where they no longer have to host all their hardware. It's all hosted on the cloud. But the other aspect of it that's really important to consider is it means all of your data is also out there on this cloud network. And with the evolution of that, there's been the development of common methodology for APIs, which are called web APIs, or commonly referred to as web APIs. And these web APIs, because they're kind of standardized, make it such that they're able to be maintained by and set up very easily. In the old way of doing it prior to web, it required IT staff to maintain these interfaces, and there's specific technologies around it and understanding what each application did in very detail. With this common methodology with web APIs, you were able now to do it, and it was much more straightforward. Doesn't require developer technical people to maintain it. Generally, it's kind of set it and forget it type things, that you set up one time and it just pretty much continues to work. So it's really changed the game with the ability for applications to talk to one another, and that's really what's changed the game for best of breed. And actually, what I like to do, if you want to go to the next slide, Josh.
You're good.
So I want to give some examples of of where the best of breed has been affected by this approach with web APIs. So one of the big knocks with best of breed has been that commonly it's been considered that if you choose, the best solution for each area of your business, you're going to end up having duplicate data entry, right? So let's say you have two different areas of your business, they use items, common items. You would have to set items up in both places, or have a cumbersome way of importing, exporting, and so forth. With the ability of the cloud and web APIs now, it's commonplace that all these applications talk to each other. They can share that information. So you set up an item in one place, you configure it so those items that are set up in one application are then also synchronized with other applications as well. So this is a common practice now, and in fact is really what's moved forward the best of breed approach is a total solution, total enterprise solution. The other aspect of it is reporting. Is one of the best features of a single suite solution is that the data is all housed in one place. Well, now actually best practices, you find even those solutions are creating data warehouses for them. And in fact, in the data warehouse scenario, it is easier to create data warehouses using the cloud model than it is to do an on-premise or a single suite solution. So in fact, it's now becoming a positive, the fact that these pieces have these APIs where you can share information, and it supports creating data warehouses and is now making it very easy to do and have enterprise reporting that's on top of all of your application programs. So that's been a game changer for the whole best of breed, scenario. So here we thought we'd actually show you some of our experience, and specifically for cannabis. So here is several applications and metric compliance body there as well. All these applications have web APIs. They support web APIs. We've had experience with them. There's many others. This is just a small sampling of them. But in fact, they all have the capability to talk amongst each other. So it's like you actually can pick, the world is your oyster, so to speak, and you can pick which applications that work best for you. And you're not tied to one vendor's outlook on or aspect or how they view certain things, and maybe you like one part of one product and another part of another. It's kind of this a la carte choice, and it really it creates for great flexibility. So yeah, it makes it for an interesting opportunity for in the cannabis segment.
Thank you, Bill. That really does sound exciting, actually, specifically when you kind of mention things like the a la carte and oyster and picking your passion and things like that. To kind of narrow that down, I think to the buyer's journey, and then maybe a particular like a real world application and a use case of this best of breed solution, how that looks. I'm going to turn it over to Tyler Vinsky, our sales manager, to take it away.
Thanks, Josh. And yeah, so just taking a look at the buyer's journey, as Josh mentioned, and outlining a little bit more about what Bill had spoke to and Lynn did prior to that. What we quickly found was that there were a lot of common occurring challenges that we were seeing in most of the engagements that we were brought into. Within most, if not all of them, it was a direct result of not finding and implementing the right solution or solutions for that matter in the first place. So we were often seeing a system that was brought in place and put in to offer true end-to-end means and be that one source of truth. And it really in turn turned out not to do that. It didn't do what they were anticipating it to do. So the end goal was to find a solution to handle all operations of the business. But at the end of the day, the actual use case for it is just handling a certain set of tasks, and not well at that. Frankly, it's an oversold solution that is underperforming. And while this is unfortunate, it really is only natural. And there's a super broad range of needs that need to be covered in an operation, and there is no one size fits all for that. So this is really where the best of breed approach comes in and is a better application and a better use case here. So finding a solution that solves each problem as they arise with the ability to have a modular growth for quick buy-in by the departments. By this point here, with regards to best of breed, you may be asking yourself, what even is that? And the simplest way to put it is the best of breed is a strategy or an approach that you're referring to going and picking those leading systems that are best in their niche category or business offering and essentially creating a tech stack out of them. And this is the ideology that we built our vision for the Canna suite offering with. And what we have found the advantages of best of breed to greatly outperform that single platform offering. So some of what Lynn mentioned earlier there, she did a great job outlining. The reason for this being is that not only does every single business operation or license holder naturally have different needs and requirements, but even within them at a more granular level, each department has different needs from one another. And utilizing the best of breed approach, the organizations are really able to quickly get a resolve for the problems at hand at the operational level, but also at the department level. To go with this, naturally, there's a quicker implementation for this, and it's really made flexible for a growing company and a growing organization. So how are we seeing this used in a real world application? We get into on the next slide. So with regards to the real world application that we're seeing things, initially I listed a couple examples departments that we're seeing it in. So accounting, warehousing, the actual operations side of things on the grower manufacturing side, all the way down to the dispensaries and the point of sale need. So we're often seeing a lot of these departments are working in silos, and a way to break out of those silos and get them to better work together is by taking the best of breed approach. So we're seeing departments become more efficient because their specific needs are being met, but they're also working better together. So they're breaking out of those silos and they're working in and working towards a more unified organization. So every segment of the business is having their specific needs met with a platform tailored exactly to what they need, but also integrated together to create a whole suite product. We are often seeing that these departments are working towards a goal that they think is where they need to be going, using means to meet their needs, but they often aren't working together towards the same goal. And they have good insights to the business, but often don't have good insights into what each other are doing. And this could be and should be better, and utilizing the best of breed approach is what makes that possible. So the back office accounting and financials department are using their platform to soundly meet their needs, making them more efficient, making their day-to-day better and streamlined in every sense, while they're integrated directly then via these APIs that Bill talked about to communicate with the operations side. The integration in place between the two platforms with accounts and the operations who may have their cultivation, extraction, processing, you name it, requirement being met, who are then in turn feeding actual end product and data to these dispensaries and their point of sale needs, creating a full circle and a holistic operation there. And so essentially the best of breed approach is giving exactly what the goal was when rolling out that original piece of software invested in, which is an end-to-end means to operate your business. And all of this here together is what we use to come up with our vision. And looking forward to our vision is, instead of forcing a one-size-fits-all offering, we really looked to and have utilized our history and systems knowledge, and frankly, business knowledge at that, to work with you and on behalf of you to really understand your exact needs, your requirements and objectives, and then from there make recommendations on best use cases for these platforms on the market, and then utilize our integrations to have to these industry-leading platforms. All in all, these integrations and connections do create a best-in-class, a best-of-breed suite-based platform to run your entire business. And this is what makes up our Canna Suite offering. It's a fully integrated best-of-breed solution that is made up of a la carte style functionality offerings, and that we pick and choose what we need, where we need it, when we need it, to cover all of your major business needs. And one of the many appealing aspects to this is that this platform is meant to be grown with, and it's also nimble. The best of breed approach allows you to be able to make swifter actions, make changes easier, to add, change, or drop if that is the case, and to really grow into your changing business. So some of the aspects that may not currently be pertaining to your organization, but you may grow into, are going to be able to be added. And this is all in all one of the really strong suits to what the best of breed approach has and what our Canna Suite offering is. Bill or Lynn, any other thoughts on this to add to?
Hey,
Or I would like,
yeah, go ahead, Bill.
Tyler, I would add, yeah, that the best of breed approach, you kind of alluded to it, but it's kind of like everybody gets a say in their software choice. If you think about a single suite solution, the challenge is that you have multiple areas that have interest in selecting this one software that's going to run your whole business. And generally speaking, there's compromises to be made, and somebody wins and somebody loses. With a best of breed approach, there really is no losers. So that's like one thing that just stands out to me as a really great aspect of going along that route.
Nice.
Yeah, and I agree, Bill. Additionally, I think what you said in regards to the cloud, I mean, best of breed is not a new concept, but with the advent of the cloud and cloud data, that's changed everything for us, because we could do best of breed before. It's just that the solutions may or may not have been integrated. And if they were integrated, was the data integrated, and could we get to it? With the cloud now, we're able to deploy multiple solutions in a cloud environment, connect those solutions, report with the same data, mix and cut and move and pivot on the data, and we can be looking for trends that maybe a single solution isn't going to be able to see for us. But when we're combining data from multiple data points, we are able to do that. And everybody wants to be able to have choices, and your employees are no different than anybody else. The people that are leading the company, if they're working in a functional area in the business, they're going to be passionate about the tools that they're using and what provides the best opportunity for them to be successful. With the cloud now and with the integration tools that are available, 90% of the disadvantages that are out there for best of breed are now solved by those integrations and the availability of the data. And what we found in the cannabis space is unique to a lot of businesses is that they're high growth, and that high growth and high growth in multiple directions. It's not linear. And when they start out, when cannabis companies start out, they're normally starting out at the seed level. And when I say seed, I don't mean plant, I mean funding level. They have smaller requirements, but the growth has been so exponential, different than other businesses that we've worked with, over 30 years. And so as a result of that, it would be unrealistic to assume that at that early stage, you're going to know what all your needs are going to be, and that a single solution is going to be able to meet those needs when you're not even sure what's going to be coming down the road. And what we found in implementing solutions is that because you're in such a high growth environment, you don't really have the time to go back and redo it. Redoing it is time consuming and it's expensive. And so being able to pick something that allows for the flexibility for you to add, change, and grow sort of on the fly it's the perfect environment. It's a perfect tool for a cannabis organization. So that's at least where we got to. So thanks, Josh, Tyler, and Bill.
Well, thank you, all of our panelists for attending today and sharing their thoughts on this subject. And also thank you all again for taking the time to join us today. I want to open up the chat for any questions that you might have for our panelists. And we'll take a moment for that. I've got one from one of our attendees who is asking, we're an application that wasn't listed in your product slide. Are you open to integrating with other software applications?
Absolutely. Yes. We're always looking for, again, best of breed. So we are looking for opportunities to expand. That's part of our concept is that, we're not limiting, we're enabling and allowing customers to choose, what products fit their businesses the best. So definitely would be open to investigating other products. And it may be something we've actually the slide there, we didn't necessarily have everything that we've had experience with. I think, we just went out and got some of the ones that we had, easily put together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if I would add on that, Bill, it's that we don't necessarily have a defined relationship with some of these other vendors that we're working with, right? So our solution is what we're trying to do is to solve the problems for the customers. So it's not really about our relationship. Because we're integrators, we can integrate to anything that our customers want to integrate with. So,
sure.
Great question, though.
Wonderful. And I think, and I see, that Lynn had posted up a question earlier in the slide deck with, is there a productivity lift with one approach over the other? And Lynn, you did submit an answer. Is there anything you wanted to speak to on that?
And I kind of touched on that when I was discussing earlier, and that's just that employees do like choice just like the rest of us, and when they participate in the selection process of tools that they can use in their functional area of the business, there's just a natural productivity lift, right? They're engaged with it, they're committed to it, and they enjoy doing their job, so they're going to benefit from any improvements in the software, and they're invested in those choices. So I would say yes, absolutely so.
Perfect. Bill, did you have anything to add?
No, I think she hit it on nail on the head.
Wonderful. Well, I just wanted to let everybody know we will be making this recording and deck available on our website, and look out for an email follow-up to those that attended. You can also scan the QR code on the screen to schedule some time to speak with Tyler or myself about how we may do some work together, answer any questions you might have. And I just wanted to thank you all again, our panelists and attendees as well, for showing up and hearing the message, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thank you so much.